welcome back to the SML podcast, Playing the Field with Field Journal 007. Hey guys, thanks for stopping back. Hope you're enjoying the video. Obviously, it's just getting started, but I think it's been quite an exciting episode. For one, I'm going to cover the topic, is Madden 19 failure? I'm going to talk about a new segment called Fields, or the best of the field. It's going to be my top three. We're going to do it once a week. The show comes out on Tuesday, so it's going to be my own kind of power rankings, where we're at from week to week. My top three teams, and of course the state of the SML, your rankings, your risers, your fallers, just the headlines around the league. First, we got to talk about Madden 19. Is it a failure? And I don't know if I'd call it a failure, but it's definitely, I've got some opinions, I guess. I've got some opinions I'm wanting to voice. I did that last time. Guys said, hey, valid points. I'm going to kind of continue to kind of give you my thought process. As you get older, things start to kind of change. My first Madden I played was Madden 06, so now we're in Madden 19, so that's at least probably 13 years, I'd say, of playing Madden. So that, it's a big chunk of my life where I've been playing Madden. And I will say this, I played different consoles, not just Xbox, PlayStation. I played it on GameCube. I've seen it on, many different platforms. So what's interesting about this game, it's like a Theory of a Dead Man song, it's like one step forward and two steps back, but that's how it is. They fix one thing and they screw up a couple different things every game. This time, and at first I thought it was just me, but it seems like it's kind of across the board. People are having network issues. I don't know if EA is having server issues, what the deal is, if it's their games across the platform or if it's just Madden in general. I've seen a lot of disconnects. I just played Fuzzy. As soon as we played, it took an excessive amount of time to load. I don't know if he turned his console off and rebooted while it was going, or if it was at DC. I'm not sure. But anyway, we got through the game with minimal lag. And once again, I don't know if that's my connection, if it's EA servers, combination of both. That is unacceptable. The server issues. But there's also 2 points I can make just in 2 games last night: Prime's game and my game. So Prime's game goes to overtime, comes down to a field goal. His opponent makes the field goal. It was the first possession of the game. And the NFL regular season rules dictates if your opponent scores a field goal the first possession, you can then answer with the field goal or answer with a touchdown, and the game would be over. Moral of the story is Prime should have had an opportunity to have the football due to the NFL regular season overtime rules. And Madden glitched. It did not give him the opportunity. He took the L. And Madden's like, we're sorry.
I'm deeply sorry. Sorry.
So, it's really frustrating when you see things like that. And then I had something in my game, playing Fuzzy, I pin him back. He's got the ball in like the 1 or the 2, and I'm pretty sure I made the safety the first play. And it even says safety. I don't know if I have time, I'll throw that clip up now.
Deep in their own territory.
Here we go now. Blue landed.
A handoff to Breida to begin the drive. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down.
Brandon, we're into the second half, and this offense has not scored a lot of points, and that was another example of why. I think it's time to open things up and start really trying to move the ball.
They run again with Breida. Oh, and he's not going to make it out of the end zone.
But what's interesting is the very next play I was able to get the safety. So irregardless, I got the safety. But it's just funny how there's just so many freaking broken aspects of this game this year. It's so frustrating. It's, the real player motion kind of takes out some of the BS where guys were able just to do the old school run to the sideline crap. Like I said, I mentioned in the last video, and you're going to see it more and more as the cycle goes on. You're going to see the jump cut. You're going to see it more often. You're going to be able to tell when guys are using the jump cut, getting guys out in spacing, and just the overpowered juke move. It's frustrating, but that's kind of like, if you want to be elite in Madden, you got to be willing to play the cookie cutter crap, and that's just what you got to do. You got to play whatever the new feature is. Anyway, so you got, safety that should have been a safety. You got overtime rules that should have been, a guy should have got a possession. Also, something I haven't noticed this year. Last year was the ice to kicker feature was hit or miss. It, in situations where it should work, it didn't engage. That was pretty often. This season though, even more frustrating than that is just and you'll notice this. First play of the game, the screens. Screens are so broken. They're so hit or miss. They're so glitchy. When you try to call a halfback screen and the ball sails over his head, or the running back gets bumped up against his lineman and just sticks there forever and he gets sacked. Wide receiver screens due to the new real player motion. Sometimes it takes them forever to get going, which that's, the guy's complaints with player motion, or true player motion, whatever the it's called. Guys just don't get going quick enough, which that's an adjustment. I don't really think that's so much a problem. It probably is a little too slow. It's something that I think will get better. I'm not going to say perfected, but it'll get better in the future Maddens. But right now, that's so frustrating to me. Screens were a huge part of Madden, and now they're almost non-existent. You got to get, it's really luck of the draw if you're going to get the screen. Okay, so now you completed the pass, but due to true player motion, is my guy going to be able to turn around? Because most of the time they stop and they face the line of scrimmage instead of continuing, their motion. I don't know. It's really frustrating to me. That's something that needs patched or whatever. It's not going to happen. I know that. I should just quit complaining while I'm ahead. But I don't know, guys. It's really disappointing to see a game that's always, kind of told that, hey, this is the next best thing. This is the best Madden yet. The best Madden ever. And I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's the best Madden ever. I know a lot of guys still say, "Oh well, they only had only 1 year to make the game, guys." You're halfway right. Okay, they only had 1 year to make a game, but they're not making a brand new game each and every year. They're porting over 90 to 95% of the game, or if you want to say 80%. They have the basics of the entire game that they just poured over, and they change some things in the coding. They take this feature out, they put this feature back in from 5 years ago. So it's a recycled product. If they were truly, if it was Madden where it's true football this year, and then next year it was guys gliding around on hoverboards, then I could understand, if it was a glitchy game, because that's a completely different concept. You don't have that this year, and I don't know, I've seen this on sites before, and I'm really starting to agree with it. The immersion level is just not there. You don't really feel totally drawn in by connected franchise mode. There's no, if you had, and they simply talk, I think it was 2K5 or whatever it is, where they had the little post-game bullcrap. You don't need that for each game, but let's say after you advance, if you were signed in, or the next time you signed in, a little video could play, and you could, or you had the option to skip it, where they would have a recap show. And even if it was made up highlights, it doesn't even have to be real highlights that are from the games. I mean, that may be too hard, but if they just popped up stats, they showed the quarterback, stat line, running back, wide receiver, defensive stats, whatever you want to throw up there, just a brief 2 or 3 minute, or 90-second recap of the week for the different games, and threw up the scores up there, and they had Chris Berman, something like that, to kind of draw you in. You just don't have that. And just for me, and I'm speaking from my perspective, just Madden as a whole, there's really nothing that draws me to this game. I was just playing Spider-Man, and I beat the game a week ago, and I'm still playing that game, trying to get the 100%, and that's the first time I've ever been driven to do that in a game. There's just so much going on there, and even after you beat the main quest, it's drawing you back in there to play the game more. The only reason why I'm still playing Madden is the competitiveness. The fact that I don't even look forward to playing my franchise games anymore. I don't get hyped up about Madden. When I was younger, I was excited for 2 months, man. It was like Christmas time. When you're a kid on Christmas waiting to open up presents, you can't sleep, that anxiety, that anxiousness, that excitement. That's what I felt back then when the new Madden was coming out. I do not have that. I'll be honest, I have not felt that in 3 or 4 years, if not longer than that. And it's just meh. Alright, Madden's coming out. Let's go ahead and get back to work. That's kind of what it feels like almost, is you're working because you're trying to do your best to overcome whatever bullcrap Madden's going to throw at you in that game. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be, driven to play my games, driven to continue on in the league, driven to even to purchase Madden at this point. I'm just almost burnt out on it. There's really nothing like I never even played Long Shot last year. I haven't played this year. I tried to play Ultimate Team 2 years ago. Once there was the rumor that if you opened up enough packs, they would send you a free copy of Madden. But even that wasn't worth it. It's like, you know what? I'm not that broke. I can afford $60 instead of sitting there putting in all kinds of time on Ultimate Team opening packs for a chance of getting a free copy of a game. So really, there's nothing. They don't add any new game modes. There's nothing that really draws you back in. They do very minimal work. This is just my rant. But anyway, we're going to move on to part 2 of this video. We're going to talk about this, where we're at in the SML right now. Where are we in the SML? Well, I'll tell you what. This is what's interesting. If you would go back 6 games ago, would you have guessed that the Jacksonville Jaguars would not only be the #1 team in the AFC South, but the #1 team in the AFC? 6-0. All right. If we start the playoffs today, right here, right now, if this was an abbreviated season due to some kind of labor dispute, or that too many players took a knee and we just wound up kind of skipping over everything, we went over here to, this is what's crazy. I'm just going to go ahead and read it to you as I see it on my Madden screen right now. Jaguars 6-0. That would obviously be the first seed. The Bengals would probably be the second seed at 5-1. So that's the South. That's the North. The East would be the Bills at 5-2. The Raiders at 3-3 would be your 4th seed. The Texans at 5-1 would be your 5th seed, and the Brownies at 4-2 would be your 6th seed. The Colts were nowhere even mentioned on there. They don't even get an honorable mention. 3-4 right now. The Colts, and obviously they probably should be 4-3. I should have flip flopped. They kind of got screwed there. Not to say that for sure he would have won that game, but he probably would have won that game from what I've seen at the end of it. Anyway, we move on to the NFC side of it. The Vikings, 5-1. Saints, 4-1. So that's your North and your South. The Redskins at 4-1 to be your East, and your West would be. I don't even see me on here, boys. I should be up there. So I'd be your West side. So North is Vikings, South would be your Saints, Redskins, me. Bears would be your 5th seed, and then the 6th seed's kind of up in the air at this point. There's really no one running away with it. The Vikings have the biggest gap right now at 5-1, and they're playing really good ball. Also, if you look at what the Redskins and the Saints have been doing, Bears, which I don't even think the Bears have an owner, so I'm not counting them. If I'm wrong, yes, the Bears do. My bad. I apologize. That's Gramazins. There's just so many teams that are CPU right now, it's hard to keep track. But yes, the Bears are having a good season. I do remember that is Gramazins now. So yeah, the NFC, not quite the way it used to be in years past either. So what is up with the guys that used to be the powerhouses and they're just not there? What's caused this? And like I mentioned in the last video, I think a lot of guys are struggling due to the fact that it's not the same Madden that it was the last 3 or 4 years due to the real player motion. That's a good thing. Due to the fact that scheming matters. You can't just line up in a quarter defense and stop the run. If you even against a 3-4 defense, if you run it properly, like there's situations where you can run the ball and you should be able to run the ball. And there's situations where if you call the right defense, you should be able to stop the ball. And due to the fact that we're playing on sim, for the most part, things work out. So, that's kind of interesting. So now we're going to go ahead and move on, and I kind of have to abbreviate this since I ranted so long in part 1. I do apologize for that. Let me know what you guys think about that, if you agree, if you disagree. I'm just going to keep it real with you. We're raw. We're doing it raw this year. And part 3 here is going to be Field's top 3 in the field, whatever we're going to call this segment. My top 3, my power rankings. Let's get to it. And no disrespect to the guys. Someone's going to get butthurt, I know. Who's number 1? Who's number 2? Who's number 3? Who got left off the list? I'm going to have to throw... And this is tough because there's not a whole lot of spacing right now. So someone's going to feel very disrespected. But, man, this is tough. The Jaguars are number 1. The Vikings are number 2 on my list. And then, man, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Bengals at number 3 for right now. So those are the top 3 teams. I don't really have a reason for number 3 other than that's That's what I'm feeling right now. Number 1 and number 2 were easily cemented. And this could change. We got a week. A lot can happen in 3 advances. So stay tuned. Hopefully you make it on the top 3. And hopefully you stay in the top 3 if you're in the top 3, because it's so important for power rankings. Guys get really triggered. So that's kind of why I wanted to do this, because I'm sure people are going to get so butthurt. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off. I'm almost at 15 minutes. I don't even like listing myself for that long. So if you stayed on, God bless you for that. Hit this video with a thumbs up. Comment below what you think. Are you burning out on Madden? I know I am. If you just happen to find this video and for some reason you're still listening, wow, you're a real trooper. Check us out on Daddy Leagues. Check us out on simmaddenleague.com. Check us out on Twitter. Guys, be sure to tweet out your game results. Send 1 tweet in advance. It's not that hard. It takes like 2 seconds to type something. Even if you want to put something like practice was hard, game sucked, Madden sucks. You know, put something that a team would put on there. That's what I did. My posts are pretty generic, but go ahead and check out. I think it's at SML Rams 19 or SML, something like that. Check out my my Twitter if you need some help. But anyway, guys, appreciate it. Always good. Hope to see you on the field. Don't beat me, because then I'll be pissed. I'm a sore loser. But be sure to like, subscribe. Take care. Have a great day.